In the world of cosmetic surgery, the Brazilian butt lift, also known as the BBL, is notorious for being one of the most dangerous aesthetic procedure ever devised. Despite numerous calls to enhance safety measures, recent statistics indicate that the mortality rate associated with BBL surgeries is only climbing higher. Over the last 2 decades, the BBL has soared in popularity, with a staggering increase of over 800% in procedures within the last 10 years alone. Where the 1990s saw a preference for larger breasts and a slimmer figure, today's beauty standards favor wider hips and fuller buttocks. However, the allure of the BBL comes with a heavy price. This procedure carries a significant risk profile, boasting a mortality rate that is alarmingly higher than many other cosmetic surgeries. For every 4,000 BBL operations, more than one ends in death, a grim reminder of the procedure's inherent dangers. These risks are further magnified when the surgery is conducted by unqualified individuals or in substandard facilities. The potential for complications, some of which can be fatal, must be a paramount concern for anyone considering undergoing this procedure, especially when seeking it abroad. During a BBL, the process begins with the surgeon performing liposuction to remove fat from the abdomen, flanks, or back of the anesthetized patient. This fat is then re-injected or grafted into the buttocks using a syringe connected to a cannula. The cannula is inserted repeatedly beneath the skin, spreading the fat across various areas through a few small incisions. This is considered a blind procedure, meaning that the surgeon cannot see the fat's precise placement inside the body. Consequently, there is a real danger of damaging the large, thumb-sized blood vessels in the muscle or even injecting fat directly into these vessels if the cannula penetrates too deeply. Should this occur, the fat can travel through the bloodstream to the heart and lungs, potentially leading to a fatal pulmonary fat embolism. Such deaths can happen within hours of the surgery, or even while the patient is still on the operating table. Kaydell Brown, a 38-year-old mother of 2 from Sheffield, England, had just celebrated her birthday. After enduring several challenging years, she had started to rebuild her life, hoping that cosmetic surgery would offer a fresh start. Tragically, this decision would lead to her untimely death. Kaydell first contacted clinic expert in Istanbul, Turkey, to inquire about possible procedures. The clinic quickly suggested a mommy MOT, a package deal that included multiple surgeries such as a tummy tuck, liposuction, and a Brazilian butt lift. In the weeks that followed, Kaydell was inundated with emails, phone calls, and WhatsApp messages from the clinic, showcasing before and after images of the results she could achieve. They offered discounted rates, covering the cost of the surgery, flights, and accommodation, with additional discounts if she signed up for multiple procedures. Kaydell worked hard to save the £5,400 needed for the trip, and eventually traveled to Istanbul with her sister Leanne. Upon arrival, Kaydell was warmly welcomed by the surgeon and staff, who were all friendly and accommodating, putting her at ease before the procedure. On the morning of the 26th of March, 2024, Kaydell entered the operating room at 9:30 a.m., while Leanne waited anxiously outside. The surgery was expected to take a few hours. As time passed, Leanne began to grow concerned and repeatedly asked the nurses when her sister would be out of surgery. Each time, she received the same response. "She's coming. She's coming. Don't worry." But then, 3 nurses approached her with a somber expression, asking her to follow them. They led Leanne into an office, where they began explaining that all surgeries carry risks of complications. Leanne's stomach churned as she sensed what they were about to reveal. Before they could continue, she asked, "Has my sister died?" The nurses hesitated, then replied, "I'm sorry, but yes, she has." Leanne was devastated, and to her dismay, the clinic's once friendly demeanor quickly turned cold and distant. They handed her an envelope containing the money Kaydell had paid for the surgery, along with a plane ticket, clearly eager to send her home as soon as possible. Despite her pleas, Leanne was denied access to her sister's body, and a flight back to the UK was quickly arranged by the clinic. When Kaydell's body was finally returned to the UK for examination, the family received more heartbreaking news. Large parts of her brain, lungs, and heart were missing. This discovery raised suspicions that the clinic might have kept these organs to obscure the true cause of death, or, as some fear, they may have been sold on the black market, fueling even darker suspicions about illegal organ trafficking. The clinic is now under scrutiny for at least 2 patient deaths. When Kaydell's family received her death certificate, it stated that there was no definitive cause of death, an apparent attempt by the clinic to deny any responsibility. The clinic later issued a statement claiming, "No evidence of organ trauma was found. We have handed the body untouched to the coroner's office." Kaydell's surgeon, Dr. Sinam Singhin, echoed this, attributing Kaydell's death to complications inherent to the surgery rather than medical malpractice. Dr. Singhin has since moved to another clinic in Turkey, where she continues to perform BBL surgeries. When questioned about whether any review had been conducted following Kaydell's death, the clinic responded that an internal investigation had found no evidence of malpractice and suggested that Kaydell's death was likely caused by a fat embolism, a known risk in this type of surgery. Dr. Anon Harper-Macken, a plastic surgeon based in the UK, has witnessed a growing number of patients needing corrective procedures after undergoing cosmetic surgeries abroad. She explains that many complications may not become evident until weeks or months after the surgery. Things like bleeding and blood collection are obviously very immediate in the short term after the surgery, she said. But things like serious infections, sepsis, wound breakdown, and death of the skin after a tummy tuck where the skin is incredibly tight, those things are only apparent in the days and weeks following the surgery. Kaydell's family has had minimal contact with clinic experts since her death, a sharp contrast to the constant communication they experienced before the tragedy. They are not only angry, but also deep in mourning. In the UK, a pathologist has re-examined some of Kaydell's remaining tissue, and his findings have led to an inquest being opened and then adjourned until early next year. "She was the funny one. She was lovely," said Siobhan, reflecting on her lost sister. "She was talented and a good mother to her boys." Kaydell Brown was more than just a patient. She was a mother, a sister, and a friend, beloved for her humor, talent, and unwavering love for her family. Her tragic death serves as a stark reminder of the dangers that can accompany the pursuit of beauty and the sometimes devastating consequences of putting trust in the wrong hands. People often go abroad for these types of surgeries because of the much cheaper cost, but often pay a higher price in the long run to repair botched jobs, or much, much worse.